So yeah, I guess we'll move on to that also wonderful part of the show, the worst DC movies. And I feel like I'm going to pick one that people, it's not considered good, but I don't think people would bring it up as worst. But I do not like this film. I feel like this was the death of the Batman franchise. It is 1995's Batman Forever, which, look, this is kind of like, yeah, this is kind of like one of the early examples of studios not knowing what they're doing, basically, because you had Batman Returns, which Tim Burton's Batman, the first one, is awesome, but to me, Batman Returns is an escalation from that. It's probably the best film Tim Burton ever made, in my opinion. It's just presents Gotham as this creepy city full of these weird people, basically, which is exactly what a Batman movie, especially one as stylized as that, should be. But of course, the movie had a Burger King tie-in and was supposed to sell toys, etc. And studios backed down because parents weren't happy with how dark the film was. So, of course, Burton's gone, and in comes Joel Schumacher, who I'll say, if I had only seen one of Schumacher's early films, The Lost Boys, love that film. And if I'd only seen that and I'd heard Schumacher was making a Batman film, I'd go, hey, that could work. It doesn't. Everything that worked about the Burton films is gone at this point. Let's first and foremost talk about Val Kilmer. I mean, Michael Keaton to me is probably possibly still the best Batman ever. Like you just get that darkness underneath this like kind of goofy persona to that character. But Val Kilmer, I'm sorry, folks, this guy has coasted through a lot of non-performances in his career. The guy just gives nothing to the character. He is just a flat, one-note wooden board. And yeah, just easily. Like, I know a lot of people like to bash George Clooney, but to me, George Clooney at least embodies that Bruce Wayne persona, whereas Val Kilmer just gives you nothing. And yeah, this movie is just a cheesy mess, basically, and it doesn't work where Batman and Robin I can kind of feel is slightly entertaining because this movie is still trying to play it serious, even though it's a cheese fest. Whereas Batman and Robin, Schumacher kind of go, okay, I'm just making this silly romp, and just ran with it. And yeah, it's just it's almost like if they tried to play Batman 66 with Nolan's pretensions, basically. It's just this weird tonal mess where nothing really works. Like, I mean, of course, the plot is you got Two-Face as the latest villain, and then of course that of course brings up another issue with this film, possible controversy, because of course we all know Tommy Lee Jones is playing Harvey Dent, Two-Face in this film, but Billy D. Williams, a black man, had been cast as Harvey Dent in the Tim Burton films. All of a sudden he's gone, and Marlon Wayans, who, don't know, this sounds like a weird choice, but Marlon Wayans had been cast as Robin, but they had to write him out of the second film, but they paid him off instead of bringing him back for this film. So it kind of brings a weird racist streak to this film that they had black actors cast as Robin and Two-Face but got rid of them. And yeah, it just feels like this movie is just made in the name of commerce, and Schumacher is telling himself, no, I'm making this important story where I'm really delving into Bruce Wayne's heads, but he's not. It's just a mess of a film where the one thing I'll say that kinda maybe works is Jim Carrey as the Riddler, where, it's like he's just doing the Jim Carrey thing, but it kind of works for that character. But at the same time, you're not really getting a Batman film where, because Val Kilmer's giving you nothing and Tommy Lee Jones is just terrible in this film. He's just so over the top and just off the leash. You're just kind of annoyed by the weird energy he's bringing to the film. And Whereas Two-Face should be the character Aaron Eckhart played in The Dark Knight, where it is this character who's like you believed in at one point, but is just broken now. Whereas now they're just trying to turn Two-Face into a new version of Jack Nicholson's Joker. And when you bring Jim Carrey's Riddler alongside that character, it just highlights how nothing of a performance Two-Face is. And even the way they treat Robin in this film, where I mean, it's the right time to bring in Robin, the third film, and the right way of bringing in Robin that's pretty true to the comics. But I feel like Chris O'Donnell's pretty one note in this, and like they're kind of playing him too young. I'd say like Chris O'Donnell should be this. Like the angst is like an okay way to go. Like he needs to be this echo of Bruce Wayne that Bruce has to take under his wing, metaphorically, and yeah, but he just comes off as so whiny, really, like that. Like, I lost my parents, but I want you to like help me kill Two-Face. It's just there's good ideas here, but they just don't go into them. Basically, they just turn it into this cheese fest, as I've said. Like, yeah, there's a lot I could say about this film. It's just one that I'm groaning the full time during it just for its cheesy lines and its lack of exploration of anything interesting, really. Like, there's times when you can just feel, oh, let's do an action scene because we've not done an action scene for a while. And yeah, this is the worst Batman film for me, basically. Like, and I can honestly turn on Batman and Robin and just have a laugh at how over the top that one is. So hopefully at some point people will revisit and see, no, this is the film where the Batman franchise went off the rails. And yeah, there you go. Even Nicole Kidman can't save this film. And I feel like she's, I mean, interesting sort of character who's just this psychologist who's really interested, trying to like dig into Batman's psychosis. But yeah, I mean, Nicole Kidman, very beautiful woman, and Joel Schumacher just wants to keep her in that role, basically. So, yeah. Basically, good ideas just thrown completely away. So, Robert, what's your opinion? I know you've been nodding along to a lot of what I've been saying. What about you and Batman Forever?
Yeah, the one praise I will give Tommy Lee Jones is he must love his children more than his hatred for Jim Carrey. Because if you read the stories, he only agreed to be in this film because his children were such big fans of Batman. And he usually was talking about quitting because of his hatred for Jim Carrey. And he just stuck it out because of his children. I mean, that's the only bit of fair play I can give him. I don't get why Tommy Lee Jones tried to be all wacky. I can't figure the film out. They tried to keep it Tim Burtonish and tried to come away from it, but didn't want to come away from it. So they still kept like half their body in the room. It was like, I just didn't get the film. You're right, Val Kilmer was just, George Clooney was not a great Batman, but I think he did get Bruce Wayne right, because I feel like they're two different characters. I think Christian Bale's always said this. You're not playing one character, you're playing two. But Val Kilmer got absolutely nobody right. Val Kilmer was terrible. And I struggle not to pick out Val Kilmer films. God, yeah. There's so many stories with this film. Just the hatred of it. Is Jim Carrey the one decent point of this film?
Probably because you look at his version of the Riddler, and that's a version that you could see in a Tim Burton film.
Yeah.
Like, you kind of like, you're kind of engaged with that character who's just totally lost it in his fandom of Bruce Wayne. And
yeah,
that like he's surrounded by, like, him being good in it just shows how bad everything else is. Basically, it doesn't aid it, it doesn't rise anything else.
No, I did like his wee scene at near the end where he's lost his mind and it's like, oh, the Batman. I weirdly found that hilarious, and I liked that. But again, it's Jim Carrey, and I find out the guy does hilarious, so that's why. But yeah, I've got nothing to add because you have covered it all. It is just, why make it? I mean, it had so many problems. Now I think the film would just be like, "We're not making this film. Stop!" But you've made it. It was just a goddamn disaster.
Yeah, and the scenes, the fact that they try and give you more of a backstory and more of a look into Bruce Wayne's head in this film, the fact that Schumacher still tried to do that stuff and still tried to tell himself he was making a serious film, just it comes off as almost Tommy Wiseau-esque, those scenes, just these self-serious flashback scenes narrated by Val Kilmer's droning, emotionless voice. It's almost like you ever see the movie Mr. Bean's Holiday?
Yep.
Yeah, you know, like when you have Willem Dafoe as the pretentious director and you see him watching his own film where it's just him moving slowly through crowds and there's this pretentious narration going on. It's the exact same thing as that. Yeah.
Isn't that the one where you've got the scene that keeps flashing back to the big massive bat flying towards him? Or is that?
Yeah, that's the
I
one.
had a feeling that was it. Yeah. Funky. Yeah. It is the worst one. I mean, I went back to watch the Schwarzenegger version of, no, he didn't play Batman, but I always say the Schwarzenegger version, because for me he was my favourite character in his version and in that Batman film. But yeah, Jim Carrey I like in this, but I'm barely liking it because I'm not saying it's his best performance. I'm not saying that. I think you're right. I think the film and people were so poor that Jim Carrey looks amazing in it. And I mean, yeah, he was a Tim Burton character, but I just can't get a Tommy Lee Jones. Like, Christ, what I didn't like the way he's playing it. It was just horrible. It was just, I don't need, if Tommy Lee, oh God, I'm going to have one now. See the whole fact being Two-Face? See if Tommy Lee Jones was the straight, serious, I'm coming up with good points, and he was the idiot, I would have so went for that. But no, he was the goddamn same as him.
Yeah, what sums it up is like when you see his living space and you just see that everything's dark or light.
Oh, the
He's
two
got
women.
Debbie Muzar as this weird, hot, evil chick, and Drew Barrymore. Drew Barrymore is this hot, light chick, and it's like, this is the furthest away from, like, I don't need everything to be deep in a comic book film, but this is like Teletubbies level sophistication, you know?
It was, it's rubbish. It's rubbish.
It is.
Yep. It's rubbish.
Cool, so get us out of here, Robert. What's your worst DC movie?
This was, again, much like the animated one. I struggled with, not again because there isn't any bad ones. There is a few. I was thinking Jonah Hex, but I gave that a pass because I like Josh Brolin. I was going to say Red 2. People forget Red is a DC. But I'm thinking with Green Lantern, I'm going to put the boot into this. I just hate this film. I really hate this film. I mean, I don't hate the characters of Green Lantern. I don't know a lot about the Lantern Corps. I'm not going to pretend to do it. I enjoy them, but I don't know their characters deep. And I know you could basically take the Lanterns and spin them off in their whole universe. It's like the X-Men. I've always compared them to the X-Men. I think you could do your own films with the whole Lantern Corps and you'd be fine. But anyway, it's Hal Jordan who's cocky. And people seem to think, oh, he's cocky. Let's cast Ryan Reynolds. Now, I'm trying my thing here. I'm weird now. I'm weird with Ryan Reynolds. I used to enjoy Ryan Reynolds in a few films. Now I look back and I go, I hate you, Ryan Reynolds. I hate you so much. You were arguably the worst thing about Blade 3, and Blade 3 was a goddamn disaster. Or Ryan Reynolds. No, we're not getting into it. Sorry, I'm not doing a Ryan Reynolds bashing session. I can't. It's so easy.
Yeah, can we reveal the fact that pretty much every other week we descend into a Ryan Reynolds bashing session that ends up being cut, and you, the audience, have no idea we ever did that Ryan Reynolds bashing session.
Yeah.
Well, which is mutual. It's not just Robert, it's me as well.
No, it's not that we hate Ryan Reynolds. It's just that we hate what Ryan Reynolds does, which is be Ryan Reynolds. Anyway, yeah, where do I go with this film? Right, I'm back through this block because I hate this film. I've got it here in my notes. I can't remember it much. I've seen Green Lantern a few times because I felt maybe if I watch it more, maybe if I give it a chance, it will be better. It doesn't stick. I have got about 4 things I enjoyed about this film. I enjoyed Mark Strong Sinestro. I felt Mark Strong Sinestro was very strong. I enjoyed Kilowog. I liked Kilowog in it. I like the ending, and see what I mean, the ending. I just like the bit of the credit the screen goes black. I do. And then I like the after scene credits. Spoiler if you've not seen this terrible film. But this film's rubbish, I'm telling you. I'm just going to go straight for the after credits, tell you what I do like about this film before I come and tell you everything I hate about it. The after credit film is Mark Strong Sinestro realising that, you know what, the willpower, which is green, I'm sure it's willpower. Again, I don't know so much about the colours and what they mean. I get confused with them. And they'll put on the yellow one, which is fear, and bada bing bada boom, Mark Strong becomes the Fear Sinestro, which weirdly leaves you for a sequel. This film doesn't deserve a sequel. This film doesn't deserve to exist. I don't know if there was any instance after. I mean, I don't know the background issues. I don't know if there was any. Maybe the film was just rubbish, or maybe there was plagued with all these problems. But anyway, billions of years ago, Guardians Universe created the Green Lantern Corps to be like a police force around the universe, where they'll save innocents from villainous people. I shouldn't sound so bold because the idea is pretty good. You basically have a Green Lantern called Abern Sur of Sector 2814. I've weirdly wrote 5 here, but I now know it's 4. He defeats the very bad Bailing Parallax. Now, if I remember Parallax, is Parallax Parallax not just a cloud, or was he a face? Or am I getting him mixed up with Fantastic Four's Galactus and Doctor Strange's villain? Or were they all just clouds?
See, again, I haven't watched Green Lantern since 2011, but my memory is that Parallax was a cloud.
Yeah.
So,
and again, I don't know if that's right. I don't know. I don't know if it's like the Fantastic Four, where he can be a cloud, but he can be this really big, massive, cool-looking dude, but they keep going as clouds. I don't know Parallax's character, so I apologise. Again, if you're watching this and you know what Parallax might look like, or if he's a cloud, please comment down below. We'd love to hear your point. Just don't defend the film. We will hunt you down. We're not having it. I'm sorry. Just come on. Abern Sur has defeated the Parallax, and he's locked him away in this dangerous zone. He's trapped forever. He'll never get out. Blah 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 blah. Oh, but he's got out. Oh no, shock horror. Parallax has escaped. Abern Sur, the only man that could stop him, has died. He's crashed. He's mortally wounded. And here, introduce Hal Jordan, who's a cocky test pilot, because apparently all cocky people are test pilots for the US Air Force. Top Gun, the new Top Gun. Most things. They're always cocky people. Probably they are. Maybe they're right. He finds Abern Sur. He makes him recite. He gives him the ring. Says the ring has chosen you. You must recite this thing. The lanterns. You know, the Green Lantern code is actually quite a good code. I just don't know off by heart, so I'm not going to say it because I think most comic book characters do have. I feel like it's kind of DC. They do have like very inspirational quotes, and I think the Green Lantern Corps or the Lantern Corps even, or no, because they're different now. Again, I don't know. The Green Lantern one, I'll just say, is a very nice, like, code, a spiel, if you will. But anyway, or an oath, probably the right words to use. He takes the ring and he's whisked away to the Green Lantern Corps home planet of Oa. I think I pronounced that right. It's OA. Oa sounds about right. You know, where he's trained by Tom Ayer and Kilowog, which is great. You know, but the co-leader, Sinestro, doesn't believe there's a bit of racism going on here. They don't believe humans are good enough, but I'm sure Batman would just absolutely like the flare of the lot of them. But anyway, that's the thing. He doesn't think humans are good enough because he thinks humans are unfit and fearful. And Hal Jordan has his moment where he's down. You're right, Sinestro, you billion arsehole. I'm quitting. But somehow he gets to leave with the lantern and the ring. Okie dokie, that sounds about right. I don't know the lantern canon, so I don't know if it's because the ring chooses them. You can't take it off them unless you kill them. I don't know. Anyway, there's a scientist called Hector Hammond. I don't know if he's in the comics. He's been summoned to do an autopsy on Abern Sur's body because, you know, the US government have found it. Amanda Waller's in it. You know, they introduced Amanda Waller, which is quite interesting. I think she's actually appeared a lot more than I'm starting to think. Yeah, I don't know if this was maybe their early attempts at going Justice League. I don't know. Or Suicide Squad. I don't know. I don't care, to be honest with you. But somehow a bit of Parallax's corpse goes inside Hammond. I can't remember how, but it goes in Hammond, and he now becomes telepathic and telekinetic powers at the cost of his sanity. I'm sure his head gets massively overgrown as well. The CGI, as we were saying, Aquaman's CGI was very good. I don't think the CGI for Green Lantern is any good. I'm sure that was a big bear bugger. Green Lantern's suit is a bit funky, although how do you make somebody with a green suit look good? To be fair, I will give Ryan Reynolds his one bash at that in Deadpool. I will allow him to have that one. That's about it. But yeah, he tries to kill his father for some mad reason. I don't know why. I didn't pick it up. I never really got Hammond's character. I never understood it. I don't know if maybe there was a lot more to him. I just didn't pick up the film. He tries to kill his father. Hal Jordan now becomes a superhero. He saves him, and he also saves his sweetheart, Carol Ferris. I can't really remember. I don't really know the cast. I just know one of the Skarsgårds was in it, and Hal Jordan was in it. Oh, and Mark Strong. Sorry, Brian Reynolds and Mark Strong. I don't know if played Carol Ferris. I doubt, Peter, you do, because you're the same as me. You've not really seen it in a while.
It's Blake Lively, who is now Ryan Reynolds' wife, playing Carol
There you
Ferris. Go. Yeah. So I guess this film did something, right?
He then saves Waller by creating a pool of water because, again, if you know the Green Lanterns, and if you don't know, I'll explain it. I think they can use their power, depending on the ring. If it's green, as I said, I think it's hope or willpower. I think it's willpower. If they have good willpower, they can create objects like hammers and a pool of water to save someone from falling. Can create fighter jets. They can create what they want. It's weird. Green Lantern always goes for human things because, again, he is a human and it's what he knows. So it makes sense. Yeah. But anyway, Sinestro goes to the Guardians because, Sinestro is a bit fearful. Mind you, I'm starting to think he would sacrifice Earth to save Oa, which I think shows his level. He's then explained that Parallax was once a lantern, which means then he cannot have been a big evil cloud at one point. It must have been something. Anyway, he forged a yellow ring, which is the fear ring. Yeah, it's basically, he forged the fear ring and he was uncontrollable and he bent to fear and he became all corruptible. It's just, I mean, it probably is correct, the canon of the comics, and I bet you it's fine. I just didn't, and I don't know, this film doesn't excite me. Basically, Hammond gets eaten, I think, by Parallax. You have this big fight between the Lantern and Hal, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And then they all say, oh, well done, you're great, you're a Lantern. And then we get the cool ending where Sinestro goes, no, I don't believe willpower's the right way to run it. I think it should be fear. And then he turns into the Yellow Lantern. I've skipped bits, but yeah, it's rubbish. It is. It's just. I mean, I want to say Hal Jordan is perfect for Ryan Reynolds. I want to, but I then just get the feeling: is it going to be Deadpool? Is it going to be the character he played in, what was it, Hannibal Cage in Blade Trinity? Is it going to be the character played in Underground 6? Is it going to be the character he's going to play in this new film with Gal Gadot? And you see where I'm going with this, people. I don't like, personal levels, I like Ryan Reynolds. I think he can be funny. My problem is it's the same character. And so when it comes to these films, I'm really struggling. I'm struggling to enjoy him. I don't know, Peter. We're not getting a Ryan Reynolds bashing film. We're here to bash the Green Lantern. But sadly, Ryan Reynolds, you were the star of it. Get in amongst it, Peter. Come on. Come in. We are fury.
Yeah, as I've said, we've had this conversation a lot in deleted scenes of this show where, listen, Ryan Reynolds can do one thing very well, play Ryan Reynolds, and it worked in the first Deadpool movie. But, I mean, I feel like you watch that second Deadpool film, you don't have to read the behind the scenes that he was manipulating everything and got the first director fired to bring in a yes man, and Ryan Reynolds is basically controlling that second Deadpool film. And listen, the guy doesn't have a lot to bring. He can be good in something, he can also be really bad and stuff. Like, I feel like we're just destined for more of this as time moves by, because he's taken, like, he seems like a nice enough guy. And as I say, I like the first Deadpool film, but yeah, it feels like he's just taken the fact that the first Deadpool became the highest grossing R-rated film of all time and just said, hey, look at that. I'm now the funniest comedian in the world.
Yeah.
And it's sad because you feel like the guy could probably find something if he stretched a bit more, but he has just been playing the Ryan Reynolds part in so many films. And I feel like that kind of laziness of performance stems to the rest of the film, which basically anytime this film's on Earth, it's terrible. Like, the characters are non-existent, the jokes are crap, and the action scenes are just so minuscule that you don't know why you're paying attention to them. When the film's on OA, there's promise there. Like, Sinestro's awesome, as you say. Wish they would bring back Mark Strong as that character, but again, they probably won't because he played the villain in Shazam, didn't he? So
if he CGI, we could get away with it.
Yeah, hopefully. But yeah, I mean, the OA stuff is okay.
Patrick Wilson played 2 DC characters. I know it's completely different universes, but a man can dream. Mark Strong is perfect. It's just, the one thing I don't get is, where did the recent resurgence for this film come from? I don't know if I think it was the Zack Snyder Justice League, and then I think Ryan Reynolds was tweeting a lot about, I'm going to watch Green Lantern. And I think it's because all those rumours of there's going to be a Green Lantern. I don't know if he was trying to push it, which you can't have, right? You can't sit for years slating the film that you were in, and then the opportunity that you could come back to, which could become a saga or whatever. No, you're not allowed back. Go away. Hal Jordan, you've ruined. We're getting Stuart.
Yeah, and that just sums up how like an issue I have with Ryan Reynolds is that he's constantly overplaying everything. Like, he doesn't miss an opportunity to bash this film. Like, there's jokes about it in both Deadpool movies that just pushes it too far. And it's at some point you just got to be an actor, man. You know. Again, we're not trying to make this whole discussion about Ryan Reynolds, but he forces our hand.
Yeah. I mean, the constant bashing. I mean, look, De Niro has spoke about Rocky and Bullwinkle, and he actually said, you know what, it wasn't a great film, but I enjoyed making it. It was different. He knows it wasn't good. He owns up. Many actors just own up to not being a good film. But I just feel that Ryan Reynolds, we're bashing him, but I don't care. I weirdly feel like he's making his whole career about, I was in a terrible DC film. You've been in lots of terrible films, Ryan Reynolds. You've been in lots of them. You were my most hated character in Blade Trinity, and that was hard considering Wesley Snipes was such a dick. I mean, that's hard because the stories of Wesley Snipes being such a dick made it the factor that I hated you more than Wesley Snipes. And Triple H was useless in that film. Oh, we're bashing him. We're doing a Ryan Reynolds saga now.
Yeah, let's get back on a Green Lantern. Like, this is the fact. Even when they try and push the envelope with this film, they fail. Like, the fact that when he comes to Blake Lively's character and, like, just tries to play it cool with her, but she immediately knows it's him, that could be a cool moment, but it just falls flat. That just sums up the entire film for me, basically.
It's a boring film. It's an unmemorable film. Like, I've seen really bad films, but I remember them. I recently watched the Will Ferrell film with John C. Reilly, Sherlock and Holmes. It got one of the worst comedies I've ever seen. I remember scenes in that, and I've seen films further back in Green Lantern that are terrible. I just can't remember anything from the Green Lantern. Can't remember what the villain looks like. I'm just taking a guess that he's a cloud. I'm just going to go for that guess. I just remember Mark Strong being good and good Ryan Reynolds annoying me. And the villain, was it Peter Skarsgård that played the guy with the big nut?
I think so.
I know there was a Skarsgård in it.
I know Tim Robbins was his dad, the senator, and it's like,
yes.
Why did Tim Robbins take that nothing part? It's just...
Exactly.
Yeah.
Terrible. Like, what one's Peter Skarsgård? That's not even one of the famous ones, is it?
I think he's the one who... It's kind of like Adam Baldwin, who's not related to the Baldwin brothers. I think Peter Skarsgård... It might be even Peter Sarsgaard, and he's not related to the Skarsgårds, maybe. I'm not sure.
So I've just, sadly, belittled a very important acting family with some random person.
Probably.
Change your name. Aye, but no, it was not memorable. It was just, yeah. I can't talk about it because I feel like I'm pushing it towards bashing Ryan Reynolds.
Cool. Well, let's jump into something more entertaining, shall we? Let's do wild
Yes.
cards because I feel like we've got a couple of classics here. Even though we're saying wild cards, we're usually championing underrated films. I feel like we're both bringing classics from the past, trying to say, okay, DC's got their new direction, but don't forget these older films, basically. So my wild card is Superman 2. And again, hugely beloved film, but I feel like I can champion this one as a wild card for a couple of reasons. Well, maybe three reasons actually, because first of all, I feel like these first two Superman movies are kind of in danger of being forgotten at this point because I feel like a lot of people who haven't seen the older Superman films just kind of assume, oh yeah, there's older Superman films. They're probably really cheesy. I don't need to see them, but these are the most spot on, like, inspired adaptations of Superman you'll ever see. And like, I know some folk love Man of Steel. I like it, but it's not these films. So yeah, and a second reason why I can champion Superman 2 is because I know a lot of people have been championing the Richard Donner cut of this movie since it came out, which, of course, the famous situation there is Richard Donner shot about half of the film, or more, a lot more than half of the film, but disagreed with the studio, much like Zack Snyder, and got booted. So Richard Lester, who's the guy who made the Beatles films, came in and reshot most of the film, about half of the film, so that he could be credited. And I know that a lot of people champion the Donner cut that came out a few years ago, but for me, it's still an unfinished cut. Like, there are cases where they're using, like, there's a scene, an important scene between Clark and Lois in that Donner cut, which it's not even a rehearsal; it's their audition for Superman, the original Superman. And obviously, it's cool having Brando in that cut of the movie finally, but yeah, it's just a bit unfinished, that Donner cut. It's cool, but for me, the original theatrical cut of Superman 2 is honestly my second favorite superhero film ever made after The Dark Knight. And yeah, I feel like that's why I can champion it as a wild card, because a lot of people probably would just say, oh, the original Superman or the Donner cuts are both better than this, but for me, this is the definitive Superman for me. So, story is, of course, it's the classic tale of Clark Kent has fallen in love with Lois Lane, and she's figured out his identity through really entertaining a series of sequences of her trying to find out and prove that he's Superman. And of course, he has to talk to, well, of course, in the Donner cut, it's Brando playing Jor-El, but of course, we all know that Brando famously fought with everyone he ever worked with, so his footage was in Superman 1, but by the time Superman 2 came out, he'd cut ties with the studio, so they just cut all of his footage out of the second movie to spite him. So Superman is actually talking to his mother in these scenes, and she's saying, well, if you're in love with a human, you have to forsake your powers. So you get the Superman without any of his Kryptonian abilities, and of course you get the classic scene where he's just beaten up by someone in a diner, a bully who he tries to take down. And of course, this is the absolute worst time for him to do it, because at the start of the film, he had prevented a terrorist plot to blow up Paris by throwing a nuke out into space. And of course, the nuke has shattered the Phantom Zone and released General Zod and his followers. And this is, I cannot explain how awesome General Zod, Ursa, and Non are in this film. Like, they're a throwback to older types of villains, but they are so intimidating and so funny. And yeah, there's just so much presence to these characters. Like, General Zod, just the classic British villain, like in the tradition of like Christopher Lee, I'd suppose you'd say. It's played by Terence Stamp, who's just done so many great films and just has such a distinctive voice. And you just get these classic scenes where he's not breaking character. He's still this intimidating general figure, but like when like they've just arrived on Earth and the cops pull up and he's just saying, "That red flashing light amuses me. It reminds me of our Kryptonian sun." It's just like, that's funny, but it's like serious at the same time. And yeah, you just get so many great sequences of these guys just dominating Earth. Like, of course, Non is the big tough guy who isn't as good with his abilities and like just like has to like learn. Just he's almost like the puppy dog, even though he's the tough guy who's just trying to like he's just so in awe of General Zod and trying to follow in his footsteps. And yeah, it's kind of a fish out of water comedy as much as it is an action piece, because you get them just totally not understanding Earth and coming to realize, oh, this atmosphere is different than the atmosphere on Krypton, so we have all these special abilities. Then, of course, you get the classic scenes of them storming the White House, and I'm going to say, like, I can't show you it. I can't, like, but yeah, I have a poster on my wall. It's a newspaper. It's like a mocked up newspaper front page of White House surrenders, and it shows General Zod in the Oval Office. It's just, I just love having that on my wall. And yeah, so yeah, and of course you get them flying past Mount Rushmore and changing all the faces on that to their faces, and then of course you just get this awesome fight where Superman has to get his abilities back and go back and fight them. Yeah, it's awesome. Of course, if all that isn't enough, you have Lex Luthor thrown in, who has escaped prison after the previous movie and is just, he's basically raided the Fortress of Solitude where Superman lives, basically. Well, not lives, but you know, it's his base of operations, and like has found out everything he needs to know about Kryptonians, and he enters into this loose alliance with Zod, just trying to say, oh, if you take Lois Lane, Superman will come calling eventually, and listen, that'll help you if you just give me Australia, basically. It's just the right amount of comedy, basically. And yeah, so this movie's awesome. Like, does justice to the Superman character. Like, he has the struggle you need him to. Like, he's the Boy Scout, but he also feels like a real character who, with like wants and needs of his own, but who has to sacrifice to and accept the need to be Superman instead of have a life of his own, basically. And yeah, it's a great movie. Like, put aside, if you haven't seen it, put aside all expectations that this is some older, cheesy version of Superman, because this is the definitive Superman movie for me. Just love it. And it is, as I say, second best comic book movie ever made for me. So, Robert, what do you think of this film? You've seen it, or?
Yeah, no, I've seen it. It's a while ago, but so my memory is a bit iffy. I remember what Zod looked like. I did like look at Zod, bearded, cool, chest out. I think the Suicide Squad, the recent, well, not the second one coming out, the one that just came out, the Ire one, has a wee nod to it where she says, Amanda Waller says, what happens if Superman was to crash through the White House and steal the president? That was a wee touch to that. Yeah, it is a good. It's just I do like the older DC films. They are just great. And plus, yeah, I think after that, Superman took a bit of a dip because it was the third one, not the Richard Pryor one. The fourth one, he didn't want to come back to, and it was like Nuclear Man he was fighting or something like that. I don't know. So I mean, you appreciate this one more because it was the last of the good Christopher. Christopher Reeve. No, I don't think that was the Christopher Reeve. I just get really confused there for some weird reason. Yeah, that was the last of his ones because the Richard Pryor one was pretty bad, and yeah, the less said about the other one, that's it. But I love how it's so simple how the villain appears. We're in a phantom zone and nuclear bombs freed us, but it's great again. Simplicity wins the day, and that's all you want. And it has got its fun moments, like a lot of these older films. They have their wee serious story, but they've got their funny moments through it, and you enjoy it, and it keeps you entertained despite being an older film. It's a good film. It is one of the DC classics. It is a Superman classic, and it is a comic book classic. I would go as far to say as well. Yeah, and I've really got nothing else to add to it. As I say, it's been a while, but yeah, definitely if it's finishing, it is a comic book classic.
Cool. Well, why don't you
Oh, yes.
discuss another comic book classic with your wildcard pick, Robert?
Oh, I've been so looking forward to this. I've went for the 1966 Batman. Oh, and you love it. Adam West is Batman, Bruce Wayne. Buck Ward is Dick Grayson and Robin. Lee Merriweather is the Catwoman. I think she replaces the cast is mostly the originals as best they could. I know the series had a couple of changes. I think Catwoman did have a few changes. I think the Riddler changed but then returned. But anyway, Lee Merriweather is the Catwoman, not the original Catwoman. And of course, Cesar Romero is the Joker. I always get really annoyed that Cesar Romero's Joker gets left behind in all these conversations. He's just fabulous. Cesar Romero's Joker. It fits the time. I think it does definitely as this film, it fits its time, but you still enjoy to watch his Joker. He's funny, he's wacky, it's just a good Joker. Burgess Meredith is the Penguin. Frank Gorshin is the Riddler. If I get this right, I'm sure this was the Riddler that inspired Mark Hamill's Joker. So there we go. You've got Alan Napier as Alfred, Neil Hamilton as Commissioner Gordon, blah blah. Nobody cares about these characters. We care about the villains and the heroes because they're so goddamn cool for the 60s. The plot of this film is just so brilliant. It's so simple. It's just so 60s. So the one thing I'll say that I really enjoy about this film is what I enjoy about TV shows that get a movie, is I like the way that they try and keep it like the TV show. So you feel as if you are watching the TV show just extended. And this does that. I think this came out, was it just a couple of months after the series had finished? So it keeps it in that weird, wacky, zany, but fun Batman. And as I say, I like the dark, gritty Batmans, but Adam West's Batman just holds this really stupid place in my heart. Just this really weird, crazy door that I don't want to ever see again, but I love it. Basically, everything about Adam West's Batman is just so simple. It's the Batcopter, it's the Batcomputer, it's just everything's Bat something, and it's all labelled. It's just simple and it's goddamn fantastic. And people look at the Adam West Batman and go, oh, it's just all stupid. It's people getting punched and it coming up kapow. But if I remember rightly, I'm sure old comic books used to do that, and probably actually some comic books do that, where it makes the noise of the bullets going past. So this is probably, if you want, a very comic book film, and then it's putting up the kapows and the zimph and the wachoo, all these really random noises, sound like words. But anyway, Batman and Robin get a tip that Commodore I don't know, he's got a daft name, it's in danger. So they get in the back.
Commodore Schmidlap.
Yeah,
Schmidlap.
That's the man. That's him. The Commodore is apparently in danger in his back yacht. Batman goes in to save him. Turns out it was a trap and there's a shark waiting for him. Oh no, Batman. Oh, Jinky's Batman, what are you going to do? He gets out, he's got the shark attacked to his leg. Anybody else would be losing that bad boy, but no Batman. He pulls out his bat. He pulls out the bat shark repellent. Again, we're talking, this is prime 60s, people. This is goddamn glorious. You just love it. You've got to buy into it. If you come in expecting something serious and not wacky and zany, you're going to not enjoy this. You have to come into this expecting to be entertained with glorious simplicity, but just, it's goddamn beautiful. So then they find out that all of the powerful underlords of Gotham are gathering. The Joker, the Penguin, the Riddler, and the Catwoman. You know, I love it. It's not just Joker, Cat. It's they're all that, and it's just, I love the villains. They're all brilliant. They're all wacky. Everybody's wacky and zany in this. They're all stereotypes. They're all great. They're just, I can't pick what one I enjoyed more. But I love Cesar Romero's Joker. There's something about it. But the Riddler is a right good shout as well for a good villain in this. So the plan is, they've kidnapped this fella. Turns out he's got a dehydrator that can turn humans into dust. Why? But hey ho, we get it. And it actually says dehydrator on it. Again, for the simplicity, just so you know what it is. Turns out they've escaped in a submarine that's made to reassemble a penguin. People, we're talking glorious times here. We're talking like absolute goddamn glorious. Like, as we say, Tim Burton's Batman Penguin has got wee penguiny things, but this one, everything's a penguin. Everything's penguin. It's glorious. So they've managed to recruit 3 pirate-themed henchmen these fellas are also glorious. Bluebeard, Morgan and Quetch. It's just, as I'm saying, you've got to come into this just the expectation of just being wacky. That it makes you go, oh, come on. But it's entertaining. I mean, I love it. So basically, turns out the yacht was a hologenetic projection. So they now go via the bat boat to find out where this projection came from. It's amazing. I love it. Do you know what I think of it rightly? I'm sure the bat helicopter, just a helicopter with a wing on the side of it. That's it. It's all just normal things. We'll let bat bits at the end. Again, you love it. But they're then trapped by magnets and torpedoes. But again, they won't be stopped because they've got bat radio detonators that will destroy these things. And a porpoise, it kills itself, which is quite sad.
The noble porpoise.
Yeah, it sacrifices itself to save them. I was quite saddened by that bit, actually. So Catwoman's always portrayed to be this very beautiful master of disguise. She can use her feminine wiles to defeat Bruce Wayne and Batman. She dresses up as the Soviet journalist Kitanya Arina Tatiana Karinsky Alosov. Basically, she just becomes Kitka. I think that's what she gets acronym as. She helps the group kidnap Bruce Wayne, but pretends to be kidnapped herself. That glorious story. But Bruce Wayne, they don't actually know he's Batman. See, this is the glory. There was a great moment in the TV series. I'm certain it was the TV series. This is just the greatness of this, where they phone Bruce Wayne to get a hold of Batman. So Adam West then does okie dokie. He has two different conversations on the phone as Batman and Bruce Wayne. How nobody figured out it was him, I'll never get it. But so they think Batman will come to save Bruce Wayne because he's his friend, without realising, wait a minute, he is Batman. Bruce Wayne escapes. He beats them. Manages to get dressed up somehow. He manages to dress up as Batman. He fights his way out of captivity. They return to the Underworld's United HQ, only to find a smoke bomb. So Batman's miffed now. He can't save them. He's annoyed. Penguin's now disguised himself as the Commodore. They're raging. They've managed to get to the Batcave. Plan fails, obviously, because they broke it. The antimatter, I think it was something to do with the Penguin used like bad water. I don't know. But anyway, the villains are now, the henchmen are unstable. They're wrong, but it's great. Anyway, Batman and Robin fail. It turns out the whole United Nations Security Council has been turned into dust. I mean, come on. I mean, that's people with their dust. And given chase in the Batboat again, which I still think Miss Kitka is in captivity, not realising it's the Catwoman yet. Robin uses a sonic charge weapon to disable the Penguin's submarine. You then get this goddamn glorious fight on top of the submarine. Oh, my people, this is amazing. It's all pows, kapow, zap, zoomer, zeep, zop. It's just the big extended. I mean, try and think Adam. No, I just said Adam Sandler. What's his name? William Shatner fighting the alien. It's all. It's just the big overextended punches with the 60s, which is what you pay for. None of this John Wick realistic fighting. This is what you get. It's great. Then turns out Batman realises that his true love, Miss Kitka, is actually Catwoman when her mask falls off. So he's all heartbroken and shizzles. Then turns out that they accidentally broke the vials containing all these members and sneezed them. So Robin, being that stupid wee assistant, is, oh, jeepers, Batman, we can't save the day, blah, blah, blah. But turns out, don't worry, because Batman's got a super molecular dust separator. Because, of course, it has. This is what I'm saying. The 60s Batman's so stupid, but it's great. They filter it and they can change things. Robin suggests maybe we should change all the people to be in human peace. But that doesn't work because Batman has to be noble, and so you can't change things. It turns out they're all hydrated again, back to their selves. They don't realise they've been dehydrated. They're having a big argument again. But I think all the nationalities have changed. Like, they've all got different accents again. So the British guys talk the German accent. And that's it. They just leave and that's the end of it. They jump away in the bat ropes. Not just any ropes. Bat ropes. As somebody just repeated to my side. Fantastic. It's so stupid. Peter, do you want to come in with this?
This movie's perfect. Like,
It is.
you could say. Now, here's the thing. This maybe some people don't understand what the '60s Batman is. Maybe again, like the Superman films, they think, oh, it's some cheesy, dumb stuff, but they know exactly what they're doing in this series. Like they get the joke completely, and it's sheer entertainment. Like just like you see Adam West running around with a smoke bomb, trying to find a place to get rid of it where it can detonate safely. Like he keeps running into a marching band or running into a woman with a pram or tries to dump it in some water, but there's ducks swimming about. It's like they get the joke of that. And like then when Robin comes in at the end of that scene and says, "Well, jeepers, Batman, you risked your life just to save a bunch of alcoholics." Like they may be drinkers, Robin, but they're also human beings. It's like the movie gets its own sense of humor, and yeah, it's I don't know. What do you say about this film? We could go line by line through this film, basically. Just it's sheer entertainment, as I've said. Like, and also I want to say it also gets the Batman lore as well, just enough. Like, you get like the relationship between Batman and Catwoman is along the same lines you see in the Burton film later on, or
Yep.
Nolan's film later on, where Catwoman and Batman are each other's chance for a normal life, and then you get that disintegrating as soon as Batman discovers, oh, Ketka is Catwoman, and yep, it's as I say, it's like it's this over the top action piece, just going from set piece to set piece, like just when they're climbing up the walls and with the bat ropes.
Yep.
You can tell they're just climbing at a 90-degree angle that they just flipped onto its side. But yeah, it works. Like, I feel like it's the passion of everyone involved. And like,
Yeah.
I especially want to call out Frank Gorshin as the Riddler because
Yep.
that guy, he's like so over the top, but he feels dangerous at the same time, just in those moments where like, you just see the madness in his eyes, just like Batman and Robin still alive to block us. And yeah, this film's awesome. Like, don't forget this, future generations. This is the first and one of the best adaptations of Batman. Like, yeah, brilliant.
I mean, yeah, Cesar Romero's Joker as well. I mean, he is always left out the conversation, which is unfair. I guess what I'm saying, I think every Joker's for a time, so it's hard to pick the Joker. Like Jack Nicholson's Joker fits the time that it was made. Although it's still weird to think that Jack Nicholson played the Joker. Weird. But I don't know if that's what maybe Tommy Lee Jones was going for with Two-Face, but didn't work. But yeah. Oh, well, yeah, the Adam West Batmans are, even the TV series, they are so stupid. It is much like the William Shatner Star Trek compared to the rest of the Star Trek universes. For its time, it's zany and it's wacky, but you accept it. They're good. They are good. Yeah, I'm happy they're there. I'm glad I picked it, actually, the more I think about it now.
Indeed. Like, I feel like we will come back to this film. Maybe we should even do a full reaction on it or something at some point, because there's so much we can call out in this film. But yeah, I guess that brings us to the end of this DC discussion. And again, I feel like DC gets a bad rap a lot of the time because a lot of their stuff hasn't matched the bar that Marvel set a few years before them. Like their attempts at a shared universe. Like, I feel like we can say this now. If Justice League had come out as Snyder's cut, it'd probably be in a much more solid place at this point, the DC universe, but it isn't. So, and again, there are so many more films we could have talked about. Like the original Superman is groundbreaking, amazing, and Wonder Woman I think is great, the first one, and yeah, of course the two Burton Batman films are great. So yeah, go and watch all these films we're talking about. Basically, if you haven't, like the Dark Knight trilogy is great, but don't just concentrate on those as the pinnacle of DC. There's so many more you should watch as well. So, as we say, we will be back in a couple of weeks, most probably, to discuss Marvel movies. But I don't know. We'll have a chat and see what we want to do next week, because we do want to have a bit of variance, I suppose.
Yep.
But yep, we will see you then. And Robert, until then, thank you for joining me.
Excelsior, completely different person, but there we go.
And to our audience, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.